Now and then you miss it. Sounds make you cry. Some nights you dance with tears in your eyes. Frank Ocean.
Every moment in time is just the answer to find what you're here for, what you breathe for, what you wake for, what you bleed for. Mute math.
I'm thinking about dyeing my hair red, just to look like a pint of red. Playboy Cardi.
Good morning. My name is Mason Zatola, and I'm a sixth former from New Britain, Connecticut, a boring and completely irrelevant town that I love. It is also home to my good old-fashioned, handy-dandy CD and cassette player. Just like many kids, some nights I had trouble sleeping, with my boundless and untamed energy fueled by watching SpongeBob and Tom and Jerry. I refused to sleep. So one day, my parents were strolling through West Farms Mall when they saw a guy selling his piano covers of classical music. Thus, they decided they could find a way to use the music to help me sleep. So they put me to bed, popped that bad boy into my CD player. It was a bloodbath. Mozart hit me with the three-piece, followed by the roundhouse kick by Beethoven, and finally with the finishing uppercut by Bach. I hit the bed like a stone and was knocked out. Without realizing it, they created a lifelong addiction of mine. Now I almost always have to have music playing in order to sleep, which has led to many mornings of scrambling for my AirPods. Those early memories of falling asleep to some fire classical is the earliest I can remember feeling the true power of music to influence. And boy, did it influence my hips. If you go through family videos, you'll find some stunning Michael Jackson equivalent performances of me and my sister dancing to Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, the Black Eyed Peas, and anything else our audience decided they wanted to see interpreted by kids into dance. Some other honorable mentions are Crazy Frog, Hamster Dance, and the classic hit Gummy Bear. Childhood bangers like that made some great entertainment and relief for my parents in between pooping my pants and crying. Looking at those videos now, it's pretty humiliating. But only now do I see how powerful the influence of music really was for me. It didn't matter how I felt at the moment. If Like a G6 was blasting, I was singing and dancing until I dropped. It's really hard to think of anything else other than music that could make me feel the way I felt then. But for me, the ecstasy of music never stalled. In the 4th grade, I got the option to pick an instrument to play. I will have to credit my sister for inspiring me to pick the best string instrument, the cello. I'm not going to pretend that there was some spark right from the beginning. I struggled through Jingle Bells, where I really practiced and got infuriated when I couldn't play a song correctly. I guess this prompted my parents to get me private lessons. Miss Kane played in the Hartford Symphony and was an extremely patient and kind old lady. I'm grateful for her optimism, even when I doubted my ability, and thankful for how well she tolerated me. Even if at that point I still wasn't into cello, I couldn't deny my progress. I was in the 6th grade. In the 6th grade, I joined the orchestra, and I was selected to be the principal cellist, the one sitting closest to the conductor and the leader of that section. Obviously, it was just a middle school orchestra, but to me, it felt like I was the president. Like, yeah, I'm principal cellist, no biggie. However stupid and cocky that seat made me, it got me interested. I started practicing without being told and really enjoying it. I was no yo-yo ma, but when 7th grade hit, my teacher let me play with the high schoolers. It was challenging, and I wasn't in the principal seat anymore, but I felt cool. Young 7th grade me, playing with the older kids and keeping up. Again, the power of music reached me. It gave me confidence, something to be proud of. Around that same time in middle school, I got very addicted to listening to music, and not just when I was trying to fall asleep. On the way to school, before it started, after school, doing homework, using the laboratory, sleeping. I took comfort in how personal it felt to me. The fact that I could choose any song I wanted to listen to and drown out the noise of a busy world full of expectations with the noise of melody. Music became my crutch, and I was lost in the world that it led me to. But let's get back to my very intense, very important music career. Other than the orchestra in middle school, I was also part of the choir. When I say a part, I really just mean I used it as my nap block. If I didn't take cello that seriously, I really didn't take choir seriously at all, and I just goofed off most days. Mr. Jardum, my teacher, was a nice guy who took a lot of crap from the kids. He also drew an extremely close resemblance to Mr. Kriz in both looks and character. And like Mr. Kriz, he believed in me despite my lack of alertness in his class. He really surprised me when he asked me to audition for a vocal part in the regional choir. I had previously auditioned for the same place, or for a place in the same regional orchestra, with my cello. But my stress of auditioning in front of people was crippling. Every time I tried to play, my hands would shake so badly, my cello would vibrate. So singing was 100% no way, not gonna work, not in a million years. But 8th grade rolled around, and Mr. Jardum still persisted, insisting I was not as bad as I thought. My dad seconded his persistence, having a long history of singing himself, and so I agreed. I spent a couple weeks practicing La Dame Ouste, sight reading along with my friends who are auditioning too. The day of the audition came upon me, and I was terrified. But I couldn't turn back now. All I could do was walk into the audition and sing. So I did just that. I walked into the room with 3 judges present. They asked me my name and told me the plan. My hands were trembling, but it didn't matter. My hands weren't in my throat. I could work with that. I sang 2 scales, I sang my piece, I sight read a couple measures of another song, and I walked out. I had done it. I felt like a new man, a new 12-year-old man. My results came back a near perfect score, 194 out of 200. I definitely made the choir and had some of the most fun I've ever had during the rehearsals and the performance. Ever since then, my fear of singing in front of people has never been as bad. I literally found my voice. However, I wasn't done with the auditions. When I found my way to Westy, I joined the chorale, and at the end of the first rehearsal, Mr. Kriz asked to let him know if anyone wanted to try out for the chamber choir. My newfound confidence agreed with my decision to try out, so I got to the chapel to audition. While I was prepared to sing in front of Mr. Kriz, I was not at all ready to sing in front of the very intimidating senior chamber choir president, Dylan Foster. For those of you who may remember Dylan Foster, you might understand why that was such a challenge. However, despite this, I got in, and the rest is history. Since then, it's been chorale and chamber choir performances, string concerts, 2 musicals, and a cabaret. Musical performances have been amazing for me, and I would love to continue doing them, hopefully for the rest of my life. But the thing is, I don't think I could ever make it my job, because while I love all the different ways to perform music, really my favorite thing in the world is to listen to music. For so long now, it's just been me, my phone, my headphones, and music against the world. The interesting thing about my music library is that I will listen to a song and instantly travel back to when I first heard it. For example, if I put on Bandit by Juice WRLD and Youngboy, I feel like a back in alumni during study hall working on physics homework. The song Honest by Baby Keem takes me back to the quarantine days in Mr. Greenwald's hall, sophomore year, when we were stuck there for almost 2 weeks. I could go on, but you get the picture. Almost every song in my library is attached to a memory of an era in my life, a place, or even a person. It's weird though, this full circle that music has brought me through. Performing music has shown me the value of making it. In turn, this has allowed me to appreciate listening to it, which makes me love performing music even more. From the start, classical music brought me into a mindset so I could drift into the dreamland at night. In middle school, I was listening to angry rap and depressing rock. It was loud and distracting, but as I grew up and my worldview changed, so did my taste in music. My music has now become quiet and uplifting. I'm now listening to what the artists are saying, the messages they're trying to convey through lyrics and sound. Music has now become time for me to sit and to think about the real world and my real problems. So throughout all these years of listening to thousands of different songs and artists across different genres like rap, R&B, hip-hop, punk, pop, alternative, metal, and dubstep, I realized that I just want to kick back, pull up my classical piano playlist, and think about life, like the good old days. Because to me, music is emotion translated into sound and inscribed into memory. Music is who I was, who I am, and who I will be. So connect to your speakers and your headphones, turn on the music that you love, listen to the way it makes you feel, and what it makes you think about. The moments of happiness, vulnerability, and confidence that you carry with it. You only have 2 ears, so please make the most of them. Thank you.